This is Steve Zeltzer with Pacifica and WorkWeek, and today we're talking with Rania Khayyat. She's the International Relations Officer of the Palestinian Journalist Syndicate. Welcome to our show.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Great. I'm glad you can join us. And the struggle of Palestinian journalists is a struggle to defend journalists all over the world. Why don't you talk about that struggle and why it's important to journalists worldwide and working people in the United States?
Yes, indeed. The profession of journalism is a very important profession because it's a profession of reporting the truth, of raising the awareness, of involving people to know more, to react and to mobilize against or towards all issues, different events going on all over the world. It's a basic element for any democracy in the world. If you want people to be involved, they should know. And this is the core, and this is the soul of the profession of journalism. The Palestinian journalists now, they are in the core of this issue because they are clearly, deliberately under attack. They are a target of a conflict and an armed conflict. They are subject to killing, subject to violations, different violations. All such violations are targeted to prevent them, to ban them from telling, from reporting, and from telling the world what's going on. They are living in very, very hard conditions, especially the journalists in Gaza, also in the West Bank. But if I want to talk about the journalists in Gaza, they are facing a very big danger of killing, of the targeting of their families, living in famine, living in very hard situation. At the same time, they are the only one who report. All international journalists are not allowed to enter Gaza. So if they stop working, it means that nobody will know what's going on in Gaza. And the massacres are going there, the genocide that is taking place, it will be a complete blackout of what's going on in Gaza. So they have a very heavy load, and they need a worldwide solidarity, a worldwide support to have the right to life, first of all, and then the right to report, the right to work and to do their duty, to perform what they should do.
And the Israeli forces, IDF, apparently have a history of targeting journalists in particular to shut them down, kill them, and prevent them from getting the stories out. Maybe you can talk about that history.
Yes, indeed. Since the beginning of the occupation of being in Palestine, the journalists have been targeted. To be honest, as the Palestinian Journalist Syndicate, we started the documentation of the killing of journalists in the year 2000, and we have a list of killed journalists with all the documentation of the killing circumstances of their murder. So from the year 2000 until the year 2023, we have 55 killed journalists. And since the 7th of October, we have now 124 journalists killed. I always would like to focus on the issue of Shireen Abu Akleh, the killing of Shireen Abu Akleh last year in 2022, who has been killed deliberately, very clearly. It was a complete crime. And even all the reports, the UN reports, showed that it was a deliberate killing. Until now, there is a complete silence from the International International Criminal Court. And but we still need to know more what they are going to do, because this silence is giving impunity, is giving a green light of more and more targeting of journalists.
And have there been any jailing of any IDF military people for killing a journalist? All these journalists have been killed. Has one been put on trial for the killing of a journalist?
Not at all. We have never been heard about any penalties against soldiers for killing journalists,
And
which means a complete impunity for Israeli soldiers and army. Yeah.
And I mean, it's like a go ahead. It's okay to kill journalists, is what they're saying. If they're not held accountable, it's okay. Go ahead and kill more.
Yes, yes. As I told you, yani, I just want to clarify something, because in 2022 we filed a complaint to the ICC about that the systematic targeting of journalists, of Palestinian journalists, taking four examples who were two killed journalists and two injured, seriously injured journalists. One of them lost his eye, and the other lost his one, I think, of his hands or legs. I don't remember the injury, but it was a very serious injury, making them as an examples. So the case is a deliberate targeting or systematic targeting of journalists. And nothing happened with this complaint. And after that, Shireen Abu Akleh was killed. We annexed our complaint with the killing of journalist of Shireen Abu Akleh as a very clear example of systematic targeting. As I told you, until now, there was a silence from the ICC. And this silence caused the killing of 124 journalists. We still expect more.
And it is a war crime to target journalists.
Yes, yes, it is very clear.
That's the international law.
Yes, with a green light. Nobody stopped them. Nobody is interfering to say, to have a strict no against killing the killing of journalists.
And what has the United States said about this?
Because
Shireen was an American citizen. She was an American Palestinian citizen.
It was a very, I don't know if we can call it in English, like a very shy position. We did not see any concrete actions for a yes, U.S. citizen being killed as a journalist, performing her duty, and all such things. Nothing, no serious interference in this case.
And also, what is the role of the Israeli Journalist Association, which are part of the International Federation of Journalists?
Actually, currently they are not a part of the.
Oh, they're not part of it.
No, they are not a member. They were requested to give an opinion or a stance for the killing of Palestinian journalists. Their reply was that the Israeli army is the most moral army in the world.
Now, one of the things that we've seen and heard about is the targeting of not only journalists, but their families, that they've been bombed in their homes. Is that going on? Are journalists, not only journalists, Palestinian journalists targeted, but their families, and they've been attacked at their homes because of their journalism. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. We have a number of journalists who lost their families, their children, their parents, brothers, sisters, husbands or wives. It's one of the hardest experiences that a person can live, where he has to report. And I don't know if you saw Wael al-Dahdour. We all the cameras, we were seeing his reactions, his shock about losing his wife, daughters, and then his son, and so on. So Wael was one example of dozens of journalists who lost their families, and they had no options, just to continue reporting, to continue working, or to leave Gaza. This is the other option, and leaving Gaza with no family, with a very big pain for losing the people who they love and they live with.
And since the establishment of Israel, the record has been that Palestinian land has been stolen, taken over. Settlers come in, are defended by the army, the IDF. And the situation in the West Bank, which most people are unaware of, is that apparently there's been a pogrom going on where families are being driven out of their homes and they're being murdered. Even the coverage of that is not really available in the United States in the corporate media. What is going on in the West Bank as well as Gaza?
Yes, indeed. The West Bank now, we had a very hard situation because yes, settlers are getting very aggressive and with the protection with the Israeli army. They try to attack citizens, journalists. Yani journalists are subject to the settlers' attack when they want to cover. They are subject to their threatening, to their incitement. In many cases, they are stopped in recording their reports by settlers attacking them, performing their duties. The second problem that we have in the West Bank, that the arrest campaign, we have a very big arrest campaign against journalists. Today we have 65 journalists behind bars. They are arrested for no clear accusation for being arrested. It's a kind of administrative detention that is used against them to put them in jail and arrest them. Additionally, I have to always to mention that covering now in the West Bank is very dangerous. We have a lot of the Israeli army try to target them. They try to prevent them from coverage, attacking their equipment, their cars, confiscating them. Many kind of violations that they live now, so to continue their work.
And what do you think about the whole idea of Jews who are like from the United States, Zionists, who believe that that land, it belongs to them? I know there was a picture of a American Zionist telling a Palestinian to get out of his home because he would take it. Yes. I mean, it's like that kind of attitude of American citizens. In fact, there are American citizens who are fighting in the IDF for Israel.
Yes, this is the concept of Israel, is getting people from all over the world having the same Zionist thought of having this land because of they are Jewish, and so they can own this land, they can get us out and live in it, rule it, live it in it, get rid of us, and that's all. This is the complete idea and the concept of the state of Israel.
And in America, there was ethnic cleansing as well against Native Americans. So, yes. I mean, colonialism is not new. It's been going on, but it seems like the United States is spending billions of dollars, the U.S. government, to allow Israel to do what it's doing.
Yes, it's spending money. It's supporting it by stances, by money, by vetoes, by every mean that they can do, so to support Israel, support their aggression, their being there, the killing of Palestinians, the diaspora of Palestinians. Yeah, they are fully supported by the United States.
And also, Palestinian women journalists have been attacked as well. And we're coming up on Women's Day 2024. What is the situation of Palestinian women journalists? It's difficult for male journalists, but then women journalists as well, the difficulties of being a woman journalist in Palestine.
Yes, the women journalists in Palestine have a double pressure because of being journalists, working on the journalism, the field of journalism. First of all, I would like to mention that 16 women journalists have been killed since the 7th of October. So they are equally targeted, not only the men, also women journalists. On the other hand, they have very hard situation. They live, in the war. They're not secured. As you know, they are displaced. They have no houses. They live in tents. They live in refugee centers and other places, inadequate places to live in. All their special needs as women, as ladies, are not found. Privacy is not found at all. They are subject to a very hard, I don't know how to say, but violations against their privacy, sometimes harassment, sometimes it sometimes reach to rape because of the very bad places that they're living in. Also working, doing their duties. They are always very afraid for their children. Sometimes they take with them to the field because they don't feel secure to leave them at home because their homes or tents or I don't know, this place they will leave them in is not secured at all. So they take them to very dangerous places for coverage, and they take them there.
Mama.
So
Mama, جبت لك هدية.
Your child as well.
yes,
Has to
yes,
be taken care of. I mean, the kind of fear and trauma that mothers that women journalists face on top of
yes, they have a lot of fear, and they suffer from trauma. Their children are suffering from trauma, and they have to work a double job, double duty, so to protect their children, to give them their needs, and at the same time they have to do their work. So it's a double load on them to do this. Also, some journalists have to deliver in a very hard place, not in the hospital. She was not even able to go to the hospital and deliver. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. What's your daughter's name?
Her name is Carmel.
Carmel. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So they have this all reflect to their feelings, their mood, and they have no option but to do their job, their duty. Additionally, what of the things that they suffer from? Yes, the displacement is really hard. It's really, really hard, and we try to support them. We try to send them some cash assistance to support them. We try to send them some meals, some tents, so to work in and to live in and so on. But I believe they have a double load than men journalists, especially in this war, being the mother, being the wife, and being the reporter or the journalist.
Three loads.
Yes,
heavy loads.
It's really heavy.
And the fact that they're getting these stories out is very important, because otherwise, who would know about what is going on?
Yes, they do. They do their best. And by the way, anytime I contact them, they welcome my contact. Any question I ask them, they always give me very accurate information. They are very, how to say it?
Responsible, professional,
responsible, committed, doing everything, any information, and they believe, they believe that I'm their messenger to the world, always telling what do they have, what are the problems, how can I help them, and also because I can help them with my language to write and to convey the story. So yes, they believe that they need the support and they want to tell the story to everybody, the narrative.
And on Women's Day, 2024, your union, I understand, and the International Federation of Journalists are calling for a global day of action. Why don't you talk about that proposal and what workers and journalists should do around the world in solidarity with our Palestinian sisters?
Yes, on the 8th of March, we want to, we decided in the Gender Council of the International Federation of Journalists to have the theme of this day is women journalists in Gaza. So to tell about them, to highlight the problems, the hard life they live, the obstacles, and so on. We are working on issuing a statement on the journalists in Gaza. Also, we included something about Shireen Abu Akleh because she's an icon of women journalists suffering from occupation, suffering from being targeted. Also, we, as I already said, focusing on 16 women journalists who have been killed. Young women, by the way, they are all in their 20s and 30s maximum. So they are clearly targeted. They have their children, they have their families. Many of them were killed with their families. One of them, she has been found under rubble after 1 week of the bombing of her house. She was 1 week alive, and then she lost life with her children under rubble because nobody was able to rescue her. So we have, we always say they are not numbers, they are stories, they are human stories. Each of them has a very big story. A Palestinian woman, not only a Palestinian journalist, is a very strong woman. She has a lot of things to do. And she is a resistant person. She is a struggling person, being under occupation, being a supporting person of her family, of her community, and also for her profession as a journalist.
So this is going to be an important day for worldwide, for Palestinian
Yes.
women journalists in Gaza and the defense of women journalists. And what would you like people to do around the world on that day?
We wish that the Palestinian journalists would be mentioned on the celebration on this day. We wish to have some vigils, to have some people mentioning the Palestinian woman, the Palestinian journalist, as a suffering woman for nothing, for being only because of being under occupation. So this is a very important issue to be raised. And when we want to talk about women's rights, and how can we support women, we have to think of those women who are living very hard conditions, and they need the global support from anybody.
And women, I think, are leading the way all over the world. I know in the United States, women are in the forefront of struggle for worker human rights. Women are taking the leadership. So it's a beautiful thing to see that women are as strong, as important in changing our...
We like to take the lead always. So yes, and we believe in the American woman to take the lead, to highlight and to raise the awareness about her sister living under war, living in war, and in such circumstances. And I always want to tell, it's not only in Gaza. Yes, Gaza, they're living the worst conditions, but also living under occupation is really a very hard thing in life.
Okay, well, I want to thank you very much for joining us. I think the importance of the fight for women journalists, for journalism, and the freedom of Palestinian journalists and people is critical to America, and especially considering that America is arming, funding Israel, and also, from what your report is saying, covering up actually the assassination and the murder of journalists. We have to raise that to a higher level. So thanks for joining us on WorkWeek in Pacifica. We've been talking with Rania Khayyat. She's the International Relations Officer of the Palestinian Journalist Syndicate.
Thank you very much. We appreciate and value all your efforts, your solidarity, and your support.